Greetings, intrepid viewers! Welcome to the Misadventures. With the 4th of July having just passed, I thought I would regale you with a couple of tales from the 4th of July in my life. When I was a kid, they used to refer to my father as the alchemist, so I kind of took after him, and he would get just massive amounts of fireworks every year, which was awesome for a kid like me. So we would set off mortar. He would make his own mortar firing vessel because he's a machinist, and a good one. And so he made a metal 1-inch mortar tube, because it usually comes with a crappy little cardboard one because it's made in China. And so he made a metal one that weighed like 1,000,000 pounds, because I was a little kid and I would haul it around. And that thing was awesome. It fired it so much farther up in the air. It was great. But it got to the point where I started making other fireworks out of the fireworks, and the best ones that he liked, I would take an entire box of Snap-and Poppers and make one big one out of them. So I would very carefully peel them apart and take all those little explodey rocks out of there, and I would put them into, most of the time, an unused ashtray, and I would very carefully unfold them and put them in it, very carefully unfold. And then one day, I apparently dropped them just a little bit too high, and it set off an entire shipment of them, and it just blasted into my face, and I had like 1/10000000th of a second to make the decision, like, that's coming towards me at a very high velocity. I should probably shut my eyes. And I did, and it just blew little tiny rocks all through my face and all over the kitchen. And then from that day on, I had to do it outside. So after that, I would do it outside, but I would make one big one out of an entire box, and it would sound like a shotgun going off. So I would package it up very nicely in Kleenex, in a little box, and I would give it to my dad, and he would take it to his machinist job and go to somebody like at a CNC machine that had programmed apart and was just kind of watching it, and just go behind them and throw it behind them and go boom, and be like, cancel, make him stop, it's exploding, what's going on? So he was a practical joker as well. Can you tell where I get it from? I threw one out the window of the car with my best friend when we were going under an overpass. That was hilarious. We almost wrecked, I think. Sorry, Sam. And then I put a whole bunch of other fireworks together. We had cannon fuse one year. We put a whole bunch of cannon fuse on like one firecracker and put it behind somebody, and we'd be standing off for a couple of minutes, and they would completely forget what we were behind them. Boom! What the hell was that? And then when I got out on my own, I started buying my own fireworks, obviously. And we would go to the parking lot at a baseball diamond park. So there'd be us and just all of these little factions of people setting off their own fireworks. And it was just like these little cells of people doing it. And it was myself, a few friends, and my best friend, who at one point grabbed a Roman candle and lit the Roman candle and held it like this, and I looked over just in time to see that it was backwards and that the back of it was pointing at the grocery bag of fireworks that we had, and I went backwards, and he reached over and pulled it like a sword, and when he got to here, the first ball fired out, narrowly missing another faction of people, and then turned around and continued on with his firework as normal. He avoided disaster by just 1/10 of a second because he trusted me when I told him that. See, a lot of people, if you say jump, they don't say how high, they say why. Or if you say duck, they'll say why, and then get hit in the head with whatever you are trying to get them to avoid. So that's your lesson. If someone says duck or backwards or whatever, do the thing. Ask questions later. And then at one point during this adventure, we wanted to... We were not just shooting them off into the sky, we wanted something to destroy. So we were shooting bottle rockets at the time, I worked at a video store, so I got a 6-foot cardboard cutout of Mike Piazza for some sort of baseball game he had lent his name to. And so we were firing bottle rockets at Mike Piazza. We burnt that thing to the ground. I had the top of the face mask, so it looked like the top of a catcher's mask and like a forehead in it, for years, because it was all just burned at the bottom, and it was hilarious. So that's kind of what we did when I was a kid, and not so much a kid, just first out on my own. But you know, the 4th of July is a fun holiday, so don't blow your hands off. But you know, have fun. And if you're gonna put a whole bunch of snapping poppers together, don't do this. Do it right here, right next to the thing where you're going to put them, and then you put them all into a baggie, and you tie it off nicely. It looks like one big one, and that is some funny stuff. So if I remember anything else, I'll put that up too. But for now, hope you had a good 4th, and we'll see you later. Like, share, favorite, subscribe.